welcome back to our next video, and this one we're going to start including devices. So let's start with opening up Safari again. I've already pre-logged in to make it easier, and what we need to be on is the devices tab. So once we're in the devices, what we need to do is we're adding or removing a device. So let's click on it. This opens up the page from where we add the devices in. Generally speaking, you need to be very close to the home center. The documents usually stay up to about a meter away from the home center itself. I have found that with the home center you can actually be 4 or 5 meters away and it will still register and pick it up. Now the good thing about this one is that there is a feature on here called devices located far from the home center and network wide inclusion. If you always enable these two, the good thing about it is instead of trying to include things in low power mode, it puts it in high power mode, which means it increases the range from where we can actually include a device. And the NWI, network wide, means if we had other modules here, they also become listening nodes, so for the home center to use to help include a device. Now in practice what that means is you can be 10 meters away and still be able to include a device, and from experience that is brilliant. It means that you don't have to either keep disconnecting the home center, move it to where your switch is going to be or your relay is going to be, including everything and then pushing everything back like you would do on other controllers, or vice versa, having to include the module close by and then disconnecting it all, taking it to where you need to be and reinstalling it. This way it's brilliant and it saves a lot of time and a lot of hassle. So as we're including the first device to this, we do have to be quite close by, but as you build your system up, especially those systems that don't run on batteries, those modules that run on a mains connection, they act as repeaters, as listening devices. Battery operated devices unfortunately don't do that, so they might be easy just to go next to the home center, include them and then install them where they need to be. But for mains operated switches, relays, dimmers, it's good to be able to install it and include them from wherever you want them. So without further ado, let's add the device. As you can see now, it's in listening mode. As with all of them, usually there's a B button or an inclusion button, and that means pressing the button 3 times as per instructions. Every module has got its own way of doing things, so the best thing to do is always read the instructions to see what you need to do to include it. So we'll just let that finish off. Once completed, the screen just goes back to here, this place. All you have to do then is click on devices, and there is our devices in the unassigned section. Now from here, what we do, we can then start naming these. So we click on the spanner icon. Once clicked on the spanner icon, where it says 4.0, that's the node ID when it starts doing all the information. They're like the unique addresses of the system. We can then name the sensor. So we'll call this motion sensor. So say front motion sensor, or well, we know it's a motion sensor, so we'll call it front sensor, and we'll put it in the, oh, I forgot on a room. I normally like to put this in the alarm room, so I'll leave this in unassigned for the time being. And then in the advanced tab, use the save log to events panel, which will keep ticked. So that means every time it detects motion, it will log it into the events panel, which will come onto. And then all these parameter settings, we'll go through that in a different video, but for this one, there, put the name in and allocate the room. So let me save that for now. Before I forget, I'm going to add in another room called alarm, and as you guessed it, it's going to go in the systems. Forgot about that. So go back to devices and click on the front sensor, and then we just change that to alarm. Then what we can do, go on to the next sensor, which you can do either through devices and clicking on the spanner, or as a shortcut through the side panel here. This is going to be in the front room, so we'll call this front temp, and allocate to the front room. Click on advance. Again, you can see send notifications about potential fire if it ever gets too hot, or save logs to event panel. So we'll leave all them okay for now, as we want to keep monitoring all the temperature. Sometimes you don't want every degree change in temperature to be recorded on the events panel, so you can just uncheck it there and save it. All that means is every time the temperature changes, it doesn't record it in the events panel. And let's click on the next one. So if you forget to do it from there, remember you can just do it from devices where it says logs, and then change it to front lux. Put it in the front room, and likewise let's get rid of that. We don't want to keep seeing every minute change. Press save. That's all saved. So if you click on devices, as you can see, ground floor front room, we've got the front temp, front light level. In the alarm room, we've got the sensor. Now we're happy with all the wording and everything. All we do, it needs to wake up. 3 button presses, it wakes up. Again, most Z-Wave items are all 3 clicks or 3 button presses on the B button, and it wakes up, and then it updates everything, and that's it. And then it's ready to use, and we would then install it according to the manufacturer's guidelines. So this particular sensor is just a clip-on. Screw one part into the wall, and this just hooks into place. And there you are, done. It's installed, and there we are. It's ready. It's measuring temperature, it's measuring light levels, and it's measuring motion. So if I go in front of it, it'll pick up and detect me and register on the screen as motion. And that's one thing done. That's ready to use. So next part is we need to use another sensor. Not another sensor. Let's go for a relay this time. Now relays are also actuators. So with a relay, we can use that to basically turn a device on or off. Again, the principle is the same. Use the instructions in the manual to find out how to include a relay. Relays do require a mains wiring, so really if you're not up to it, get a qualified electrician to wire up all the relays for you. So I'll just go through the process one more time. So it's add or remove devices, network wide inclusion, and then I will press the B button. I'll just click on add, press the add button, all logging on. So this B button was a little bit stiff. So it's configuring all the device and it's going through all the parameters. This one is a dual module, and we can now specify what it's going to be controlling. So let's say we'll control one light, one other device, because say we're connected to a Siren or something. So one light and one siren. But as you can see from the list, it can be various different things you can set up. So let's click on OK. And now it's opened it up onto the right page for us as well. This is something new. That's not usually used. This didn't happen before. So now this one is the light. So let's call this outside light. So when the alarm goes off, we want this to flash as well. And so we'll put that outside. We want the logs. Okay, so let's click on save. And let's go on to the next device. This is potentially our siren. So we'll name that Siren, but we'll put that into the alarm box. And again, we want to see when in the events panel, whenever this does come up, and click on OK, save, done. So go back to main devices. As you can see, our system is slowly being populated with all the different devices. And so we've got our siren in, we've got our front lux, front temperature, we've got the outside light, alarm sensor, etc. So as you can see, things are moving along nicely, and all we do, rather than me showing you on video, I'm just going to do them. And so, but you get the gist of it on how to include devices. And we'll give that a rest for now, and then we'll come back when it's all done.